What up, though, people? Thank you for pushing play on the Lion's Roar vlog. We are on chapter 2 of the second book of Adam and Eve. I took a little break just to take a break, give myself a chance to breathe, give my voice a chance to relax. Now we're going to go ahead and get into book 2. We're on chapter 2. Let's do it. And Eve brought forth a son, perfectly beautiful in figure and in countenance. His beauty was like that of his father, Adam, yet more beautiful. So that's a unique word to refer to a male son, but that's what it is. Then Eve was comforted when she saw him and remained 8 days in the cave. Then she sent her daughter unto Adam to tell him to come and see the child and name him. But the daughter stayed in his place by the body of her brother until Adam returned. So did she. So they were still grieving over Abel. But when Adam came and saw the child's good looks, his beauty and his perfect figure, he rejoiced over him and was comforted for Abel. Then he named the child Seth. That means that God has heard my prayer and has delivered me out of my affliction. But it also means power and strength. So I believe here, even if the name wasn't Seth, let's just say like Seth is just an English iteration, like, right? Or let's just say like Seth is just like a translation, if you will. Then whatever the name is originally for, like, whatever it really truly was, it meant that God has heard my prayer and delivered me from my suffering. And it also means power and strength. Okay, so the name would have meant those two things together. Okay, even if it wasn't Seth. Like I've said and I maintained in this vlog, the first man's name was not Adam and the first woman's name was not Eve. Okay, those are just the placeholder value words for what their essence was, because their names carry an essence of who they are or who they were, if you will. So just like it says here, Seth's name means what it means. That name Seth carries an essence, even if it's just like in the English version. But like I believe first of all, I know for a fact when you go back and you look at because I've seen it with my own eyes, like with Moses and Masha, and like there's these words of Moshe. There's these words or these names that when you dig deep, when you dig deeper into study and you start realizing the name wasn't Moses. Now that figure was there and he did what we said Moses did. Like the scriptures, Moses is how we know the name. So we can't take anything, like we're not changing the narrative. We're just dealing with the truth. It's the same thing like when I get to the life of Jesus, when I get to the life of Yeshua, you're going to understand, like, it's the same thing as when we deal with the image and the name and like the capital J and the capital C with the English, making that be the proper name. But Jesus Christ was not his proper name. Understand that Christ is a title more than anything. Yeshua or Yeshua, Yahushua, or like whatever the phonetically, like going back to like the Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew, like what it was when he was here is his name. But just because we say Jesus does not mean that we are trying to disrespect. If you say Jesus in a language and that's your language and you can't even really pronunciate the other word, but when you say Jesus, the Spirit knows what power you're calling on. It reverences and it respects that. That's what I'm trying to say. So these names and things are often, that's the angle. A lot of these names are not the names. It just is what it is. It's just that's for us here to be able to say, okay, we're making reference to this individual person during that time, or who did, the one who busted up the people with the donkey jawbone. We know that's Samson. Samson's name may have been something totally different back in that time. That's what I'm saying to you, okay? You get it? It don't change who Samson is or what that man did, what that person, what that being did in that time, okay? Then after Adam had named the child, he returned to the cave of treasures, and his daughter went back to her mother. But Eve continued in her cave until 40 days were fulfilled, when she came to Adam and brought with her the child and her daughter. Remember, because the daughter was helping Eve, like with the childbearing, the 40 days, maternity, you know how they give you them, it's they say like it takes a month for the woman to heal. Like I forgot, it's like 31 day. I think it's like a month and a little over actually. So this 40 days is her healing process, and getting used to the baby and all those different things. All right. And they came to a river of water where Adam and his daughter washed themselves because of their sorrow for Abel, but Eve and the babe washed for purification. So they had to clean themselves. Well, why? Because, back then, I imagine everything's very crude. Everything is. You ain't even got to imagine it. They don't have none of the medical benefits and all the things that's going on here today that are meant to be a help and an aid to the women as they have the children. They don't have that stuff. So yeah, why did she have to be washed? Because she needed to. She's just had they're the early humans. So maybe there's still fluids and different things going on because she just wanted to be with the child, and maybe they just had to do what they had to do. And then at this point is when they're able to go ahead and do the wash, and they wash the child and she washes herself, and we keep it pushing. That's what we have to do now. Because why? Because we're in that lower state now. We're in that animal-like state now, if you will. Okay. Then they returned and took an offering and went to the mountain and offered it up for the babe. And God, Yahweh, the Most High, accepted their offering and sent his blessing upon them and upon their son Seth. And they came back to the cave of treasures. As for Adam, he knew not again his wife Eve all the days of his life, neither was any more offspring born of them, but only those 5, Cain, Luluah, Abel, Aclea, and Seth alone. Interesting. But Seth waxed in stature and in strength and began to fast and pray fervently. So Seth was like Abel. Remember, remember, and that's the final verse there. So Seth was like Abel, because remember what it said about Abel, like it's about the same thing. Like, Abel and Cain obviously were very different. And so now Seth is coming out and he's looking to be more like Abel, and he's looking to be more like, that higher spirit, the Most High God, the spirit that he imparted into the early human, the beginning human. Seth looks like he's leaning more towards that than that darker, devilish, wicked energy that Cain had sort of leaned to. So, that's it. I want to say, I know that this book, someone left a comment before I took this break here, maybe like within a few weeks before I took the break, someone left a comment and they were like, saying it's not canon and this, that, and the third. And I get that. I get that. I'm going to read things on this vlog that are not canonical, if you will, which means that they were not chosen by the Council of Churches to be deemed to be important enough to be part of their version of the Holy Bible. And when I say their version, it is their translation. Please understand this. Now, does that change the root doctrine that the Most High sent through his people, sent to the earth through his people? It does not. It does not. It does not. However, we have things that we have to be very honest with ourselves concerning as it relates to the cultures at large that got their hands on these scrolls and these scriptures, and they manipulated things all over the world, and they lied and they deceived and they did all this extra stuff, and they tried to paint these elaborate schemes and pictures to trick people, and they did for a while, but now like all things are being exposed. The truth is being exposed in all things. So right now, well, the truth is being delivered and the lies are being exposed. If you know, and the truth is having a light shined on it. So right now, you know, just the reality is that we're going to deal with those things, and those things are going to get dealt with. And it doesn't matter. See, like for me and my vlog, I don't really care. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, all them people that's going to come, because I know they're going to come arguing. Oh, when I really get going and I get deeper into this stuff, especially when I get into the life of Yahshua, they're going to come arguing left and right. Here's the thing. I don't care, bro. Like, I'm not here to appropriate people who want to argue. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it in my life no more, man. Like, I'm just not doing it. I'm not on no level am I doing that crazy, dramaed out, just like, I'm not doing it, bro. Life is too short. I'm not doing it. It's the spirit of confusion. It's the spirit of division. It's the spirit of arguing and those three things: division, arguing, and confusion. It's just, I refuse to operate out of it. So I say that to say, I felt the spiritual push to read these particular passages, this particular work, the book of Adam and Eve. I felt a push to do it. I'm not reading this, putting it alongside of the Bible, saying, look, this is actual fact. But when you look at how it kind of plugs in and you look at some of these things, I mean, we notice, Seth, it's like it's aligning so well. You know, it makes me wonder sometimes, like I said, with the Egyptians having the control of the Hebrews, as you know, when they were in Canaan and all of a sudden they became slaves. One of the main moves of enslaving a place all the way back to ancient history is taking away the knowledge and the background and the spiritual way, the education, the whatever, anything that provided structure to the people, we're taking that away. We're lifting that. You're not going to have that. And it's going to be, we're going to have it in our language, culture, catacombs. We're going to have it in our chronicles, if you will. So I find it very interesting that the book of Adam and Eve, like when it's first found upon the earth, it's in Egyptian. But it's dealing with the same names and areas and situations and people that the Hebrew scriptures are. And then, like I always mention in this vlog, when you understand this is facts historically, you can look this information up. There are more Hebrew temples outside of Israel in Egypt. There are more Hebrew temples outside of Israel than anywhere else in the world, going back to ancient times and presently today. They're still finding sites that they're like, hey, these are Hebrew temples. This is something very interesting. Because why? The Hebrews and the Egyptians were always talking and doing work with each other and talking and learning. Yahshua, remember, where did Mary and Joseph go when that leader of the Rome was trying to I think was that Caesar was trying to destroy the firstborns? Where did they run? They ran to Egypt. Yep. When at the point where, well, they say Yahshua went into the desert. Like there was a point where he ran and then like he went into the desert and he was tempted and all this other type of stuff. But yeah, I just find it interesting. I'm not gonna contemplate and say that it was Egypt was the desert that he went to. But I have read, and I have a book that I'm gonna go over when I get into the life of Yahshua that talks about the fact that Yahshua was all over that region, not just in Egypt, traveling, which would have been customary for someone like him to do. So they don't even want you to know that this man branched out way in that, like into Asia and like these, you know, points east. The Buddhists, I don't know if you've ever heard this before. You can research this. And when you research this is very fascinating because why would the Buddhists have a reason to lie? Why would they have a reason to lie? When you research in the Buddhist history, they're like, hey, Jesus, that man Yeshua, he came to visit us in that era. He visited our ancestors, our antiquity. He visited us. We have this document showing da 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 this that, and the third. Some have even went as far as to say that literally the Buddhists themselves saying, "Oh, we got his body. We have his body." And that's just always been very interesting to me, the whole like descending of Yeshua, because like, you know, it just makes me wonder. He came here through. It just makes me wonder, like where, what's going, like, what does heaven gain? What does heaven gain? Not like the heavens, the sky, because that could be a definition of heaven. But I'm talking about like the spiritual heaven, like that heaven. What does all of like where the Most High and the Spirit and like this divine energy and this essence, what is it gaining from the physical body of Jesus coming there when he wasn't like he came he came here the same way that humans come here, through the woman. So look, what I'm saying is, does it change what he did if his body stayed behind and it was more a thing of that his spirit left? And perhaps it was the spirit of him resurrected in those people 3 days later, who then went out into the highways and the byways. Because maybe for 3 days, 2 days, however many days, they were so distraught that they like, man. And then I've read that the writings of Mary of Magdala or Mary Magdalene, these scrolls, I'm going to read those here on the vlog too. I'm going to get into a book that I have about those scrolls on this vlog that a PhD, a theologian did. Okay. But when you read into that, it mentions even sort of debating, and it's kind of like a little division that was going on between them, because they all had their own different ideas of like, well, not their own different, but like there's a couple different ideas in the room. Mary's one, Peter's one. There's John he says his things, he's saying. Thomas is there, he's saying things. So like there's this powwow going on of all this different, like what it means to be, what was he showing us? And Mary comes through with some stuff that's like, and they all knew that she spent more time. It's written that she spent more time with him more than the others, and that they talked about more than what the others were. He was talking about with the others. So she came through with some information in her writing. And when she said it, Peter gets frustrated because he's like, what are you talking about? That sounds like some heresy, or that sounds like something that, what? He told you that? But here's the thing. Me here now in 2025, I had already read the books of Enoch, both of them. Well, there's two. I think there's 3 of them. But there's 2 that they said is like they're calling those like the one. Then there's like another one that they're like, we're not really too sure. I think that's how it goes. But I didn't read anything Enoch, anything dealt with Enoch. I didn't read it. So if it's 2 or 3, whatever, I didn't read them all. But I remember specifically reading in one of the books of Enoch certain things that Enoch said that Mary of Magdala was saying that Yeshua said to her. How could she have, like, would they have fabricated that? And then this book that I have about these scrolls, and this book is kind of like supporting their factivity. I don't know whatever other word. They're confirming that, hey, their legitimacy, I guess we could say that. And this book is like, yo, this could be very interesting, because then this gives like not so much of a stark view of like, but it just deals with like there are layered things that the Spirit is speaking through Yeshua when he's here, and we got to understand that. And even I feel, and I know, I'm not even gonna feel about it. I know for a fact that even here today, things are layered like that, but they're not going against the prophecies from of old that are still being fulfilled here today. They're not going against the trajectory of how things were orchestrated and divinely fired off to be going. You got me? So, I hope that, that makes sense with everything that I said at the end there. And again, like I said, this vlog, I'm just gonna, look, look, y'all, I'm not claiming to be no theologian, and I'm not creating no new doctrine or nothing. I still am a Christian. I still believe in Yahshua and the sacrifice of Yahshua. I just don't agree with the deceptions and the manipulations of men that are around these things. And I'm going to speak out about that. And I don't care how they feel about it. They could come with their anti-Semitic, whatever. They could come with whatever they want to come with. I don't care how they feel about it. And if they shut me down off the internet, guess what's going to happen? The Most High told me, get a bullhorn, take the same information, and you're going to go out into the streets and then say it. And you'll still be on the internet, because someone will then come. Someone will then come and always be recording you, because you will be at the same places, and they'll know, and they'll be coming to record you, and you'll go viral. It won't matter. In other words, the truth is going to come out, whether the evil bastards like it or not. Yeah. If this information resonates with you, please hit the subscription button. Please hit the notification bell. Share it with someone who you think it will resonate with. If it resonates with you, you probably know somebody who will resonate with. Go ahead and come back for the next video. Y'all be blessed. Peace.